Hello, and welcome to the CALC Champions Spotlight. Basically what this is a creation of League of Legends champs that, I've come up with, and that have been based on characters that I've seen in movies and things like that. So it's kind of like a cool thing that you can see maybe some of your favorite characters from stuff, and most of them are originals. But the first one is Kai, the Master of Chi. Kai is passive, is gone through a bunch of stages, but what I ended up with was he basically is out of combat movement speed to help him really do his responsibility. His responsibility, in my opinion, is jungle. He's going to be a jungle-based champ where he's, getting around to the different jungle camps and being able to set himself up to gank other people. So his out of combat, he basically, the animation in the game is what I was thinking, is he gets on all fours and he starts, gets 20% movement speed. His Q has also gone through a bit of stages, but his Q is a cool thing that it kind of really, it really bases on the position of his blades and the chain on them. So, and his basic attacks as well. They can go to a certain range, they can be super melee, and they can kind of go a little bit of range, kind of like Thresh with his chain on with the scythe at the end, I guess. Anyways, Q kind of goes with that as well. So basically, he has these two chains. He throws them forward, kind of boosting himself forward. It's a small dash. This dash can also go through walls. So he will dash forward, sending his blades forward, doing more damage, and then he can swing his blades around him, and then therefore doing damage to everyone around. So since his blades can go out more, the range on that spin is actually kind of large, which can also kind of be a down effect, a disadvantage, because if the champion's really uptight close to you, then you can't really do much. That's what comes in with his W. Now his W has two parts of it. His first cast, he basically, have you ever seen weightlifters? They take the bar and they go like this, the ropes, and they do the wave across the floor. Basically he does that with two of them. He does it at the same time. They go against the ground in a wave formation, hitting enemy minions and going straight through enemy minions. If they hit champions, it actually locks onto the champion, stunning or basically rooting them for 0.5 seconds or something like that, a really short duration. But his second cast, after getting onto a champion, if he doesn't hit a champion, it's just a first cast, and he just does damage to targets and targets and minions that have hit in the path. But if he hits a champion, he can reactivate the W ability to be able to bring himself to the enemy. Then this roots them for another 0.5 seconds. It's kind of a really good thing you can do if they're basically on top of you and you can't really get out there, or they're running away. So it's really good for ADCs or melee characters that have, you can't really get a good position on them because your Q has a really wide radius on spin. So you can stun them, and you can just W and you'll have the second cast. So yeah, then you can kind of run away. Roots them for 0.5 seconds, not very long, but it kind of sets you up. That's why he's good at ganking. He can just run in there, get them, come at them, and then sets you up and your ally to go on to them. Next we have his E. So he's the Master of Chi, right? So if you've ever seen a movie, when he has made them vulnerable in a way, he can absorb their essence and to make them his chi. Now that's into his ultimate, but the E kind of starts into that. So what his E does is he takes life from them, life essence, up to basically 5% life. So he adds, it's basically lifesteal. He just steals life and it's instant, and it's, from there it drains them to him, like a Vladimir Q basically. But you have to be, it's really close range as well. That's why it's a good thing to the W, hit him, pull him in, E him, and then continue on, right? But the great thing about his E, so once you have ultimate unlocks, E kind of upgrades itself again. So what happens is when the enemy champion dies, he absorbs their chis. He can also absorb them, instantly killing them if they're below the 10% mark on their health bar. He can press his E and it just kills them and absorbs them. But that's kind of hard to do, so if you just kill a champion, it also absorbs them. thing about absorbing them and getting their chi, he actually has to do that on large minions. He can do it on, not epic monsters. He doesn't do it on epic monsters, but he can absorb Garanta chi, the blue buff chi, the main wolf chi. He can also absorb minions and such. This is when he has his ultimate, right? He can absorb up to 5 chis into his belt. Now, each chi, we'll get into it later on the ultimate, but they give him basically bonus stats the more chis he collects. This is why you kind of want to kill champions, so you get bonuses. That's his E. Yeah, so get into his ultimate. I'll probably talk about his E a little bit more because they kind of go into each other. So his ultimate, he unleashes his chis that he's collected with his E, with killing champions and such. Now, of course, the champions, they have like a 10% like thing that you have to go whoosh, and then you get the chi. But for minions and monsters, the percentage is higher because, I mean, those guys you will kill, and so yeah, it's 10%. It's hard to get to there, especially later on when you do more damage to them. So yeah, anyways. So his ultimate, he unleashes his chis that he's collected. Now, if he doesn't have any chis, he ultimately has 5 minion chis. No, they don't help his basic stats. His basic chis will just be like random selection of casters, brute minions, and maybe if he's lucky, a cannon minion. But that one's more like on the basis of absorbing him and killing him. So he'll always have those 5 chis if he's not doing very well. Not really on the, you know. And if he absorbs, let's just say a monster or a champion, just like one, then the other 3 will be minions, of course. And it's just, the minions will stay there, and then as he absorbs other champions, they'll just take the place. Like monsters or champions. Anyways, so if he absorbs champions, let's just say he gets a pentakill, he gets all the champions on the enemy team, he absorbs their chi, he has 5 chis, right? He gets himself 1% of his basic stats for each champion chi that he gets. Monsters, minions, they don't offer this because they're too easy to kill, too easy to get. But champions, who are much harder, much not as easy to get and to absorb, he will absorb them, get 1% of his basic stats up to 5%. But it does not affect things like attack speed and movement speed. Just more basic stats like health and damage. Maybe magic ability, but he probably won't go magic ability. He's more of a AD champion. Anyways, his active of his ultimate. This is where he unleashes his chi. He loses his bonus stats. Well, sorry, sidetrack. Not sidetrack. So he unleashes his chi. He does not lose his bonus stats while the chi are alive. As the chi die, basically until all the chi are dead, he retains his bonus stats. But if they're all dead, he loses them. Make sense? Here's the great thing about chis. Okay, let's start with minions and monsters. Minion monsters, the chi they unleash, they gain 50% of their basic stats as they're a clone of their chi. Because like, if you've ever seen the movie, the chi he unleashes, they're basically jade statues or like, you know, crystal statues of the person he absorbed. So, and they follow his bidding, they attack for him and all that crap. So basically the same kind of thing. He can unleash 5 of them though, which makes it a really cool champion. He basically unleashes his own 5-group team with him being a leader, so 6 technically. So he can kind of run it down mid and do a lot of damage. Anyway, so minions and minions and monsters gain 50% of their basic stats onto the battlefield, capped. All are capped at 1,000 health for level 1, 1250 for level 2, and 1,500 for level 3. And there should be caps on damage, maybe as well, but champions themselves get 25%, capping at 1,000, and capping minimum is also the 1,000, but it can't go over 1,000 as well. But for level 2, it can be between 1,000 and 1,250, and then 1,250 and 1,500, it can be between those. But 1,000 is the minimum. At level 1, it's still the minimum. It's also the maximum. And then 1,250 is the maximum, 1,000 is the minimum. 1,250 is the minimum, and then 1,500 is the maximum level 3. So, the great thing about absorbing champions, and this is why you want to absorb champions, is the fact that they will retain their first ability, their Q. So, let's just say you absorb like a Vi. She can actually go out and punch people, dash and punch basically, and do the same things as the ability, but 25% of stats, right? So 25% less, or 75% less damage than the actual champion, depending on what champions you have. So it's a really cool ability to be able to gain advantage over a team, especially if you're alone. But of course, it's a long effort, a hard effort, unless you're really tank fed and tanky and stuff like that. You're able to just kill champions left and right. But other than that, it's kind of hard, but it also makes him a challenge, saying, oh, I want to get all these 5 champions. And so, yeah. So there is Kai, the master of Chi. So, yeah, he's still based on a Kung Fu Panda 3 movie, so whatever. But I hope this is kind of cool. It's cool for me because I made him. So his ultimate, great for 1v1ing, because technically they're not 1v1ing, they're 1v6ing. If he gets enough champions, it's really good. It's a meat shield. It allows allies to be able to run away. It allows allies to be able to set up. He can attack a tower. So if he attacks a tower, basically, and walks back, they're going to still stay attacking that tower. Does that make sense? And also, in a certain radius around himself with these Chi, because they're just going to be following him. They're not going to go really adventure everywhere. They do have a radius where if he leaves, they will come back to him. But anyways, what I'm trying to say is, in that radius of himself during his ultimate, they can go attack people and things that enter in that radius. Kind of like Kindred's W with her wolf, that can go out and attack champions that are in that little circle. Well, big circle. Kind of the same thing with him. It's going to be smaller, of course. And it's kind of nice. Especially if you have a champion set up with like their whole team, and you can kind of use their abilities against them, which is insane. So that's good, but his ultimate is also kind of bad because it's hard to get things, right? It's hard to get champions, and it's a process. The ultimate, it's not like, oh, I can just send it, I do a lot of damage. If he doesn't have the champions or the monsters, he just sends out 5 weak little minions that are just minions. So I guess if he wants to make a wave of minions a little bit bigger, he can. But other than that, his ultimate can be good or bad, I guess you could say. It can get stronger. It's a really flexible ultimate.